We are the fourth. We are so.
At long last, we have reached the beginning point for game number 162 on the regular season schedule. It is the final game of the calendar year for the Braves, and they'll try to sweep a doubleheader today from the St. Louis Cardinals. Hi again, everybody, with Nick Green, Chip Carey. Welcome back to Turner Field. If you missed game one of this double dip, you missed a great one. Shelby Miller and two relievers combined to shut out the Cardinals by a score of 6-0 today. And Nick, that continues one full time through rotation for this Braves starting staff, where they've given up one earned run or less. Let's see if Matt Whistler can do it for the Braves again today.
You know, Whistler's been pitching really well lately. He had the one rough start the 1st of September, but they put him in the bullpen, let him get his bearings straight again, and he's been outstanding the last 4 starts. He's gone at least 6 innings in each of those starts. You see the last 5, and that includes that rough start. 2-2 with a 2.89 ERA. You're hoping he follows all the rest of the starters and has a good game today.
And he'll face Lance Lynn, the pride of the University of Mississippi and a former All-Star. 12-game winner for the Cardinals this year, and look at those impressive numbers over the last 20 times out.
You know, you saw Lackey last game. He's outstanding. You have another double-digit winner in Lynn. Last 20 starts, 9-6 with a 2.87. He's not going to give you anything but his best out there today. It's going to be another tough start for the Braves, but hopefully they can continue to build on that last start.
And hopefully Mother Nature will cooperate. The rain has stopped. It's game 162. Lineups and first pitch for game 162 next.
Rice every day.
Final game of the regular season for the Braves. The Cardinals will get set for the postseason after the conclusion of this afternoon's tilt. Matt Whistler's on the mound for Atlanta, and Nick, he's got a chance to even up his record at 8-8.
Yeah, and like I said just a minute ago, he's been pitching very well after that relief outing, which we didn't know if he was staying in the pen or not, but he has been pitching very well since then. You hope he can do that same today.
And these are his 4 keys to success in his final start of the year.
And he's got to keep the ball down in the zone. Obviously, that's a key for everybody. But he also uses breaking ball effectively. And by that, I mean he has to throw it for strikes when he needs to and throw it for balls when he needs to throw it for balls. And if he gets ahead, he can use that breaking ball effectively. We've seen it done time and time again. When he is successful, when he's not, you see it missing down the middle of the plate and guys taking advantage of missed mistakes.
John Jay is the leadoff man for the Cardinals in game 2. And Jay behind quickly, no balls, 2 strikes. And that's tipped and caught. Good fastball for Whistler at 95 miles an hour. And here's the rest of the Cardinal lineup for game 2. The Redbirds have won 100 games. They've lost 61. Tommy Pham is in right field hitting second. Randall Grichuk in left is third. Adams, Reynolds, Garcia, Cosma, Easley, and Lance Lynn. Game 1 played in a very brisk 2 hours and 14 minutes. Might see a similar pace in game 2 today.
I cannot complain about that. At any game that's under 2.5 hours, I applaud and appreciate.
Fly ball center. That'll chase Bourne back. Still going. And he got there a step shy of the wall. Good defense for Michael Bourne, who had a couple of good catches in game 1 in left. He's in center in game 2. The rest of the CPI Security defense: Garcia in left, Cunningham in right. Hector Oliveira is the third baseman. And as we told you in game 1, Ryan LaMarnway will be the Iron Man behind the plate. Andrelton Simmons available off the bench.
Good thing about Lavarnway is he has a whole offseason to recover from a doubleheader today.
That's exactly right. He'll be exhausted. And hopefully it'll be a quick run of defensive innings as Randall Grichuk rips one out of play, foul. Cardinals were shut out for the 2nd consecutive game, and it's the 3rd time they've lost back-to-back games via the shutout. So St. Louis offensively right now 0 for Atlanta in the run column. Braves won 4-0 on Friday, 6-0 in game 1 today. And quickly Grichuk behind 0-2.
Whistler's feeling good out there. 95 consistently so far. He just broke out a breaking ball for a strike, getting ahead of every single hitter so far. Signs look good for him to succeed today.
I'll fly out of play, foul, and Grichuk keeps the at bat alive. This is going to be a wild afternoon. I mean, it's going to be wild around the Major League Baseball world. All the other games are in action now. 7 games have postseason implications today. And as the afternoon goes along, we'll update you on the scores. Swing and a miss. And that's going to take care of Grichuk, who thought he tipped it. Whistler wiped him out. 2 strikeouts in his first inning. Here come the Braves. No score.
is presented by Hyundai.
Whistler got the Redbirds 1-2-3 in the top of the first. Here come the Braves, looking for their 67th win and their 8th in their last 9 at home. Michael Bourne is leading off again in center field. He'll face hard-throwing right-hander Lance Lynn. Lynn out of the University of Mississippi, a #1 pick, and Nick, an all-star too.
It doesn't stop. Like we said earlier, they just run good pitchers out all the time. They load guys up with power arms and guys that are durable, and Lynn's one of those guys.
I asked Ricky Horton to tell us about Lance Lynn, whom we haven't seen in a while, and he said in a way he's kind of Bartolo Colon-like, not just in his physique, he's a big man, but in his pitch repertoire. 90% of the pitches this man throws are fastballs, and he can move the fastball to all 4 quadrants of the strike zone and change speeds with it. If he has that, he's very, very good. When he doesn't, he doesn't really have a good secondary pitch to fall back on.
Well, here's the other thing too, is he does not consistently throw the ball in the same spot. You can throw fastballs all day long if you mix the spots up. If he continues to throw away, never bust you back in, then you're going to see him get hit. But he just doesn't do that. He mixes it inside, outside, and you know, like you said, he's just so durable too. And they run those guys out there, and shows that you can win and succeed with one pitch if you change the location.
3 balls, 2 strikes for Michael Bourne. Wind blowing straight in Atlanta, and that's chopped foul. All of a sudden, we had hopes for a nice day about the 6th inning of game 1. But more of those rain bands are making their way into metropolitan Atlanta. It's a swirling mist right now. Sharply hit and off the glove of Garcia and into center field. So Michael Bourne has his 2nd hit of the day, and he's got a hit to lead off the game for the 2nd time in the doubleheader. The rest of the Atlanta lineup behind Michael Bourne. Daniel Castro will bat and play shortstop. Hector Olivera, Garcia 4th, Peterson 5th, Siriaco, Todd Cunningham, Ryan Lavarnway, and Matt Whistler. So there's your Academy Sports starting 9. Daniel was 0 for 4 in the first game, and starts play tonight with a .250 batting average. Ball 1. Braves tagged John Lackey for 3 runs, 5 hits in 4 innings, including a homer. Jaime Garcia gave up 2 runs in his 4 innings in his final tune-up before the playoffs start. And Whistler would love to have what Shelby Miller got in the first game, and that would be a couple of first-inning runs to play with.
And they're off to a good start. A nice swing by Bourne to start this game off. But with Lynn, if you can get him in a count where he has to throw a strike, you're going to be able to cheat to one side of the plate. Bourne got to a 3-2 count. He knew Lynn was going to throw something away. He was able to stay up the middle with it and just kind of cheat to that spot. So you have to try to get ahead in the count on Lynn in order to kind of pick his pitches and location.
So let's see what happens on a 2-1, and Castro served to the right side, foul.
And Lynn knows what Castro wants to do. Castro likes to go the other way, so Lynn's going to bust him in. Doesn't matter the count, and that's a veteran pitcher knowing the scouting report against the Braves hitters.
Be careful with Castro if you go in there. We saw that the other night.
He can't take it deep. I mean, 2 home runs is pretty impressive for him. But he's got to get the right pitch to do it with. And like you said, it's going to have to be something inside that he can pull down the left field line.
So Lynn laboring at the start. 13 pitches. He doesn't have an out yet. Bourne's running. The pitch bounced to the right side. That'll get the runner to second base.
Oh boy.
And a good at bat by Castro. Put it in play. Bourne in scoring position for Hector Olivera.
And some might wonder, why was Garcia covering second base on the steal? And the reason was because they know Castro is going to try to hit the ball either way. So the infield swapped up the coverage and played it perfectly, and Castro did exactly what they thought he was going to do.
So here's Hector Olivera, 2 homers, 11 RBIs. He's hitting .250. And takes inside. Ball 1. Lynn wants a new baseball. Here's, and he'll get one. Sharply hit towards second, but Bourne to third. 2 outs. So Cosma's been busy early. And here is Adonis Garcia. Big day for him. His first career multi-homer game. And Garcia with his 2 homers got him to 10. He's the first Braves rookie to have double-digit home runs since Evan Gattis hit 21 homers for the Braves 2 years ago.
And who would have thought that from a guy that had 3 home runs in over 300 at-bats in AAA? That double power has turned into over the fence power up here.
And that's something we talked about in game 1. The Braves finally got to 100 home runs this year.
So I can stop saying 100.
Right. Exactly. And now the question is for Garcia, I'd guess, Nick, where does he play?
Well,
he's had defensive trouble at third base. He had an error in game 1. You've got a lot of veteran outfielders on the club as it stands now.
I think you just have to play him, find spots for him here and there, because his bat's playing. And to me, I feel like he could be a guy that you could play in a couple different spots, maybe 2 times a week, maybe 1 time at third, 1 time in left, and then get him on the back of the bench, because we know he can hit in big situations at the end of the game. So I don't know if his defense were to improve. I think he could be an everyday guy, but with his defense a tad shaky at third base, I think he's a guy that's going to be valuable off the bench.
1 ball, 2 strikes. You saw his Georgia lottery jackpot numbers. You hit 370, you're going to hit 4th in a lot of lineups, and that's what he's doing of late.
You're not going to be on the bench if you're hitting 370.
One ball, 2 strikes. Bourne at third, and that missed outside. 2-2.
And here's a count where Garcia's worked him 3-2, and he should be able to cheat on a fastball. In this count, he's thrown 2 sliders, which you said he doesn't throw a lot of sliders. So you know he's going to come with a fastball here pretty much. I mean, he might not do it, but more than likely he's going to. And the fastball percentage is actually 85%, which is very, very high. So I would be shocked if he threw anything other than a fastball in this count.
It was a fastball, and Garcia fought it off. That's what makes Bartolo Colon so fun to watch as a broadcaster, and I'm sure frustrating as a hitter. You know,
it's comfortable at bat, but you can't do anything off of it.
Exactly right.
And Bartolo has a little bit more movement than Lynn does, and obviously Lynn throws a little bit harder, but they know what they're doing. They know how to pitch, and like you said, moving the ball over the place.
Line drive into center, a 2-out hit for Garcia puts the Braves in front again. It's 1-0.
And that's the situation that, as a fastball, pretty much fastball only pitcher, you run into. He gets to a 3-2 count. You know he's going to throw a fastball, and Garcia is able to take advantage of it here. Runs in on his hands, but he's still able to cheat a little bit, knowing that fastball's coming.
So again, there is nothing like early offense. Miller got 2 first-inning runs in Game 1. Whistler now leads 1-0. And the Braves, when they score first this year, 42 wins, 24 losses. This is a team that's 29 games under 500, so that tells you how important that early offense is for this pitching staff.
And you know, I am big on scoring, like you said, scoring early, but at any way possible. Like if there's a guy on second base in the first inning, I don't mind you bunting him over to give your big guys in the order a chance to knock him in. And run that, the stats show it. The Braves win when they score first, and early they don't win if they don't. Try to get early runs as much as possible.
And you're right, they're 48 games under 500 when the other guys score first. One ball, 2 strikes. Jace Peterson tries to dump one into shallow left, but drifting out is Garcia, and he'll make the play, and that'll retire the side. We're off to another good start in Game 2. Adonis Garcia having himself a big doubleheader finale. Coors Banquet Beer timeless moment. Baseball's playoffs have expanded dramatically over the last several seasons, but in 1969 it really was a sea change in Major League history. It was the first time you had divisional play, and the first ever League Championship Series games were played. The Mets beat the Braves 9-5, and the Orioles beat the Twins in 12 innings over in the American League. In the old days, you had a National League and American League, and it was a fight to the top, and whoever won the league met in the World Series.
I like what they've done now, and I like the expansion of 2 wildcard teams in each division.
Matt Adams strokes that one a mile high to center, and Michael Bourne in the gray skies makes the catch, and there's out number 1. It certainly has created a lot of excitement for the teams that aren't going to win their divisions. As I said, there are 7 games with playoff or playoff seeding implications today.
And it makes September much more important than it used to be. And like you said, now, who would have thought 7 games have playoff implications on the last day of the season?
Just what baseball wants.
I like it.
And We'll tell you about those scores in a minute. Here's Mark Reynolds. Reynolds at third base in game 2. Skies one out of play. Let's start in the National League. The Cubs and Pirates have home field advantage on the line for the wild card game today. If the Cubs win and the Pirates lose, the wild card game will be at Wrigley Field. Scores: Cubs 3, Milwaukee 1 in the 4th inning. Pirates 2, Reds nothing, also in the 4th inning at PNC Park. The Dodgers have already clinched home field advantage over the Mets for their potential for their first round playoff series. Boy, that's going to be a good one. Greinke and Kershaw and Harvey and DeGrom and Syndergaard. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And we talked about the 3 o'clock start time for all the games. There are 11 games in the 4th inning right now.
It's great. It's great. I mean,
you got the one blowout, Tampa, Toronto, 9-0 the third, but other than that, everything's playing about the same.
That's up the middle by Reynolds, and that's the first Cardinal hit. And he's aboard in front of Greg Garcia. Where it really gets fun is over in the American League. The biggest race to figure out is the American West Championship. The Texas Rangers have a 1-game lead over the Astros. At the moment, the Angels are beating Texas. It's 2-1 in the 4th inning. Houston is in Arizona, tied 1-1. If that race finishes in a tie, there'd be a 1-game playoff for the division championship, and that would take place tomorrow. That's fouled back, and the Angels obviously want to win today because they're a game behind Houston. Now, where it really gets complicated is
it's already been complicated.
If Houston wins and the Yankees lose, Houston could potentially host the Yankees for the wild card at Minute Maid Park. Got that? 1 ball, 1 strike. Pop fly by Garcia, left side and into the seats. It's 1-2. Former Cardinal Albert Pujols as we go around the majors today. Off Cole Hamels. Gone. 2-run homer for the Halos. And Texas desperately needs Cole Hamels to pitch deep into that game today. The Rangers bullpen is on fumes. Tollison and Dyson have been so good in relief. Ready for this? It's a ground ball hit towards second. There's 1. There's 2. That duo for the Rangers, Nick, has pitched in 5 consecutive games down the stretch. They may be unavailable. 1-0 Atlanta.
Ford dealer.
Good start for Atlanta, leading 1-0 with Nick Green. Chip Carey with you from Turner Field. There's another race to talk about, the National League batting title race. It was as close could be at the start of play today. D. Gordon's 3 for 3. He needs a triple to hit for the cycle for the Marlins. Bryce Harper's 0 for 2 today against the Mets, as Pedro Ciriaco rips a single to start the second inning. The advantage is to D. Gordon in that matchup today. He's facing David Buchanan. Bryce Harper's got to hit Jacob deGrom.
That's a little bit different,
right? But here's how close they were at the start of play today. Bryce Harper led the National League at hitting. His average 3.308. Bryce Harper, D. Gordon 3.306.
Wow.
That's amazing.
I'm so excited to see D. Gordon come over here, or come over to Miami and have such a great year. He's such a good kid, and to see what he can bring to the table at the top of that lineup is pretty impressive.
Todd Cunningham slashes one, just foul to left. And out of play, it's 0-2. So lots to talk about on this final regular season Sunday. Who's going to win the home run title in the National League? That's another great race, as Cunningham got tied up and is retired for the first out. Arenado and Harper with 42 homers each atop the pile in the senior circuit. Here's the Cardinal defense. It's makeshift today. A lot of their starters out for game 2. Got him a couple of at-bats, did Mike Matheny in game 1 of the series. No Hayward, no Holiday. No Peralta, no Colton Wong.
No everybody.
No everybody. No Molina. No problem. They're getting ready for either the Cubs or the Cardinals in St. Louis on Friday. Excuse me, the Cubs or the Pirates, I beg your pardon, in St. Louis on Friday. And Ciriaco picked off.
And you can see Ciriaco was trying to get a jump. He doesn't need to. If Lynn slide steps, you just shut it down. And Ciriaco's got the speed to go. He just doesn't need to cheat that much. And Lynn's got a quick move too. So now at least we've seen the move.
That's Heidel of Arnway. 2 balls, no strikes. And that's rocketed foul. 2 balls, 1 strike.
And talking about Ciriaco getting picked off over there, it was a big part of the order because you want Whistler to come up. If you have a chance here, you want to give him a chance to come up and turn the order over. Now, if Lavarnway gets out, you're going to have Whistler leading off the inning.
That's hit towards short softly, and Lavarnway's retired. And that ends the Atlanta second. Bottom part of the order up for the Redbirds. They trail by a run. travel on our always exciting Delta charter. Thanks to Mac Honey and all the great people at Delta Airlines. Best care in the air. We look forward to seeing them in April of next year. Let's keep going around the majors. George Springer is back for the Astros. And a base hit for Springer brings home what was then the tying run to make it 1-1 in the desert. Right now, Houston trails 2-1. In a must-win game for the Astros if they want to catch the Rangers in the American League. Now, let's say Houston loses today and the Angels win. There'll be a playoff between the Astros and the Angels for the second wild card. Won't that be fun?
Could anybody write a different script?
Pete Kozma bats and takes the ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Well, this is what baseball wanted. This is what the fans wanted.
I like it. Like I said, I'm just going to wait until tomorrow to see what happens.
Pop fly. It is shallow right. That'll be handled by Cunningham. And Todd puts the squeeze on. That Kozma's retired. And 1 man down. But what a remarkable story the Astros are. Remember, they have 3-4 years of 100 losses in a row. A franchise that had never had a 100-loss season. And here they are on the final day of the season with a chance to secure a playoff spot. Out of play foul.
Now, you definitely would have thought of them as a playoff contender this year. And then they've almost got themselves back out of the race as well as they played the first half and into the second half. It would be a shame if they couldn't get that playoff spot as well as they played. Like you said, they've lost so many games over the years that this is a great thing for Houston, a great thing for baseball.
Evan Gattis has been a huge acquisition for the Astros. Leads their club in homers and RBIs. And oh, by the way, Evan Gattis has 11 triples.
That's a perfect park to hit triples in, though, because
right.
It's a strange layout. We know Gattis is not the fastest guy out there, but it's not about how fast you are. If anybody hits it in the right spot there, they're going to get a triple.
And Dallas Keuchel, 20-game winner for the Astros. And Keuchel 15-0 at home.
He's really turned around. I faced him in AAA, and he was a very comfortable at bat. I wanted to face him all the time. And all of a sudden, 2 years later, he's in the big leagues and just carving up big league hitters.
Right. And that would terrify any club if they get to play the Astros in that 1-game play-in game, because you know the Astros will turn the ball over to their ace in a must-win game. Lance Lynn hits, takes the ball, 2 balls and a strike.
And we talked about the Cardinals having, you're going to have Lackey going game 1.
Lynn skies one towards center. That's playable for Bourne.
But you have these other teams with the possible game tomorrow. You're going to waste your number 1. The Cardinals set it up perfectly for Lackey to do game 1.
And that's the advantage of winning your division as well. And the Cardinals have certainly done that. Atlanta looks to add to a 1-run lead next.
Right stuff, low price, every day.
Nick Green, Andre Eldridge, Chip Carey from Turner Field for the final time this year. Matt Whistler got a first inning run, and he'll lead off the home third against Lance Lynn. To a very minor degree, Lance Lynn has been the Shelby Miller of the Cardinals this year. He doesn't get a lot of run support either, and in 4 of his 10 losses, the Cardinals have been shut out. And he's down 1-0 to Whistler today. And a base hit to right. Better hurry. They might throw to first. The throw sails high and easily can't corral it. And Whistler's at first base. Pham came up firing, but he airmailed Adams at first. And Whistler with a leadoff single.
That was one of the highest throws I've seen in a while, and the least accurate throws I've seen. When you see Whistler busting down the line, he wanted that hit more than anything. Nice job, hit going the other way, and anytime a pitcher can get a hit, you know they're going to run hard to try to get there.
Well, a couple years ago in Houston, I think Mike Minor hit a shot to right field, and he got thrown out at first base. Never want to see that happen. As Bourne hits a double play ball to second, 1 there and 2 there, 2 outs.
Well, you talk about pitchers and hitting. I played when I was at Boston. We had Javi Lopez was pitching, and then they put in a position player to pitch for him. They move him to right field. First pitch was crushed to right center. I've never seen a pitcher run so hard after a fly ball in the outfield because his runs were on the base paths. It was amazing.
I thought it was because, like Tom Glavine would say, I want to show how athletic I am as a pitcher.
No, he did not want those runs scoring.
Daniel Castro, the batter. And takes a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Mets and Washington are playing today. It's a tune-up for the Mets. After Max Scherzer threw his second no-hitter of the year yesterday and blanked the Mets. Well, New York's returning the favor today. Bartolo Colon and Logan Verrett are twirling a no-hitter. That game's in the 6th inning at Citi Field. Mets are not scoring runs of late. It's a bit of a concern. 1 run in their last 3 games, 17 runs in their last 9. And hitting .188 as a club in that stretch. Going to match up with the Dodgers, where you figure at least in the first 2 games runs will be very tough to come by, with Clayton Kershaw and Zach Greinke in whatever order Don Mattingly deploys them. Popped up back toward us, but out of reach. It's 2-2.
And Kershaw just went over the 300 strikeout plateau today. He started out having a rough year, and he is now top 3 in the Cy Young race.
I was going to say, how'd you like to have to vote for the Cy?
I'm going with Arrieta.
Are you?
I love what he's done for that team, and I don't think that team would be where they are without him. But you can't go wrong if you pick any of the 3 guys: Arrieta, Greinke, or Kershaw.
Well, Arrieta had the huge second half.
He's unhittable now.
Greinke leads the league in ERA, and Kershaw leads in strikeouts and innings pitched. Popped up into shallow center. Jay comes in. He's got it, and that will retire the side. 4th inning now in Atlanta. 1-0 Braves. That's a beautiful car, the Hyundai Genesis.
They've done a nice job with the cars.
Heck yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I'm a fan.
Boy, it doesn't take them long, does it, Woody? Second game in the booth, and they're already begging for a car deal.
Hey, I'll get rid of my Prius and get a Genesis.
Here's John Jay.
Although I guarantee you don't get 50 miles a gallon.
No, there's no shot.
And I'm filling up for $17 for 400 miles.
There you go.
Maybe I won't get rid of my Prius.
Oh, the economics major, Nick Green. In game 162. Whistler looks sharp. He's faced the minimum through 3 innings. He's allowed 1 hit. That was to Reynolds. And Jay strokes that one to left. And Adonis makes a leaping grab. And there's the first out.
And I think that carried a little bit farther than Adonis was expecting. Nice recovery. And I'll tell you from experience, there's nothing worse than playing the outfield when you're not really an outfielder. A ball goes over your head. You got to turn your back and run for the ball. It is a nightmare.
1 away for Tommy Pham. And a strike.
And if you noticed, I talked about this in game 1 with LeVar Way catching back there. First pitch here to Pham. LeVar Way is able to pick up a low call because he's so quiet and gets his thumb underneath the ball.
Back to the mound. Easy play for Matt. Perfect strike to first. 2 outs.
And I just can't get enough of watching that type of catch. I mean, it's just so pretty to see somebody get their thumb underneath it, quietly get the calls for their pitchers.
And look, this is the kind of game that means very little for the Cardinals. They want to swing the bats. They want to get this game over with. They want to get their looks at Whistler, obviously, and they are trying to win the game, obviously. But St. Louis has much bigger fish to fry than game 162 against the Braves. So for Whistler, he's got to know that. Throw strikes, get outs early in the count, move this thing along, and that's exactly what he's done.
That is exactly right. I mean, he like you said, he knows what's going on there. He knows who he's facing. These guys still want to get hits, but they also have their, like you said, bigger fish to fry.
Up the middle for Randall Grichuk.
And they're going to continue playing into October, where the Braves, this is the last game of the season. Everybody goes home, but you know these guys are out there competing every time. Whistler can make quality pitches. You know they're going to be aggressive, and he's going to get quick outs.
Texas, by the way, is taking lead over the Angels. Adrian Beltres hit a 2-run homer for the Rangers. And Evan Gattis has driven in the tying run for Houston. That one's 2-2 down in Phoenix against the Diamondbacks. Here it's 1-0 Braves, a first inning run driven home by Adonis Garcia. And a strike from Matt Adams. Adams had one of the biggest home runs in Cardinal history, a 3-run homer off Clayton Kershaw in the division series. Home run that led to the Cardinals defeating the Dodgers in postseason play. I would assume that's a big challenge for Clayton Kershaw. You look at his postseason numbers, they are not nearly as good as his regular season body of work.
And that's tough to describe. I mean, I played with Jarrett Wright twice, once in Atlanta, once in New York, and he was fantastic in the season on both teams. He goes to the playoffs, and he seemed like a different pitcher. And I can't imagine how Kershaw.
This one's well hit towards center, but playable for Michael Bourne.
But how Kershaw can change from being the dominant pitcher he is to struggling in the playoffs.
That's something the Mets are hoping happens as Whistler sends our game to the home fourth ahead.
the Georgia Lottery, Sherwin-Williams, and your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places.
Time for the bottom of the fourth inning, where the Braves lead 1-0 here at Turner Field. Hector Olivera will be the first man to face Lance Lynn. Ripped to left. Jumped all over that first pitch at 82 miles an hour. It sticks under the padding on the fence. And it's an easy double for Olivera as the Braves off to a good start. Chance to extend the lead.
It's nice to see Olivera come in after not playing for a while and come in and be aggressive on something in the zone. Kind of rolled it in there, middle in. He's able to hit it hard to left field. If you put the ball over the white part of the plate and not down in the zone, Olivera's going to hit it hard.
And that's his 20th hit with the Atlanta Braves. And his fourth double. Well, here's the hottest man. That's Adonis Garcia. RBI single in the first. And he takes a strike. Braves won game one today, 6-0. Milestone win for Braves skipper Freddie Gonzalez, his 700th managerial victory. Ground ball right side. Nice pick, Adams. Now it's a race to the bag, and he will win it by a step. Nice play by Adams, and he barely got Garcia, but a productive out.
You're lying. I mean, that play is a very difficult play for a first baseman or a third baseman if a lefty's hitting. You don't expect the ball to be hit that hard, that sharply the other way, especially to the corner infield spots. And Adams did a good job of catching it first and then beating Adonis to the bag. But you said Adonis, that was a nice productive out. He's trying to go the other way. I was actually wondering what he was going to do hitting in the 4-hole, if he was going to try to get the runner over to third base or if he's going to try to drive the ball. I like what he did there.
I didn't see which foot he hit the bag with. If it was his right foot, the jarring nature of that play at first is something that would scare the Cardinals a bit. I'll explain after the pitch to Jace Peterson with the infield in. It was his right foot. It was also the right quad that Adams tore and had to have surgery to repair. So that jamming into the bag.
And the fact that he had to bust it to get over
right.
You can't simulate that type of movement. You can run all day until you get in a big league game and try to make it out. It's a big difference.
But if that was a test, it appears Adams passed it with flying colors here for the Cardinals. As Peterson way ahead in the count, 2 balls, no strikes. Olivera at third, 1 away. 1-0 Braves lead on a first inning run. And sprayed back foul, 2 balls and a strike. Squibb toward short on contact. Olivera's coming home. The throw to plate is in time. Nice play by Garcia to his right. Easily had the plate blocked. And a good throw gets his man for the second out of the inning.
And I thought off the bat that Olivera would have had a chance to go home. Nice play by Garcia. And keeping his momentum going towards third base and throwing across his body on the run is not an easy throw. He didn't run it at the line and was able to get the out at home plate.
And the throw brought easily to the third base side of the plate. Bad break for Olivera. The angle he had, or the lane he had, was to the first base side of the dish.
And he possibly could have gotten in there had the throw not run up the line just a hair and pull easily across the plate to block it.
So a potential second run cut down at the plate. Still 1-0 Braves, and Pedro Siriaco hits. He has one of the 5 Braves base hits today. 4 singles and a double in total for the Atlanta offense. Braves playing good ball to end the year. Trying to go 8-1 in their last 9 games at home.
And they're 8-5, or actually 9-5 now in their last 14 games. And it's a very positive note to end the season on.
One pitch. Sky foul out of play. 1-2 your count now. Served into right field. That's going to get down for a hit. Siriaco's 2 for 2.
I'm telling you, I liked when he's in the lineup. That swing was a ball down and in, probably a ball. We'll see here. Yep, down in the zone. He stays inside of it, doesn't try to do too much, and is able to fillet it over to right field. If you can continue to swing like that, he hit, I think, 290 or something with Boston one year. It was, he had a very good year, but if you play him right, I think you're getting a lot out of him.
Siriaco hit 293 with the Red Sox in 2012. That was over 76 games and 259 at bats.
And that's a great year for a utility guy.
Far and away the most at bats he's ever had in a big league season.
And that's okay. I was talking to Mark Bowman earlier, and I was good getting 150 to 180 at bats, not getting exposed. And my problem was they wanted me to play every day, and then once I got past that 200 at bat mark, it started going downhill. So some people you have to play a certain amount of at bats. You can't get them overexposed like myself. But I mean, Siriaco can do a good job and fill in for a month or two at a time if he has to, and then come off the bench, like I said, run, hit the ball late in the game.
Sharply hit, and that handcuffed Adams. Scramble to the bag and got him. Lynn just did beat Todd Cunningham. Freddy Gonzalez is going to take a look at this one, it would appear. Horacio Ramirez and Rob Smith in Replay Central in the Braves clubhouse. We'll take a look and see if Cunningham beat the rap at first base.
Ty goes to the runner.
I think he beat it.
I think you have to challenge this. Big play.
Look, Cunningham's foot touches before Lynn's does.
These replay angles are awesome. Being able to slow it down can be a curse or a blessing. This should be a blessing for the Braves. Last game with the replay of the hit by pitch was a curse for us. We thought for sure it hit the bat, and they ruled otherwise. But this is so close here, and I think you're right. Cunningham hit the bag first, and the crowd agrees with us.
I mean, by an inch. I mean, by that much. And while we have a minute, we want to thank Horacio Ramirez and Rob Smith for their great work on the replays, as well as the entire Braves clubhouse staff. Chris Van Zandt, the great traveling secretary for the Braves, his first season, filling in for traveling secretary emeritus Bill Acree. Chris did a fantastic job this year. Ben Acree and the rest of the staff in the Atlanta clubhouse. Josh Hall, awesome work. We look forward to seeing those guys in spring training next year. Of course, the Braves training staff, Jeff Porter, Jim Lovell, Lloyd Van Pamelin, Phil Falco. Really, really good people who came to work every day with a smile on their face and success in their hearts for the Braves this year. And hopefully they'll all be back with us in spring training next year, and we'll enjoy a much more enjoyable 2016 season.
I'm not sure it could get much worse. But, you know, they've been playing great lately. You said this, the starters have been going. This last time through the rotation, they've been pitching really well. So you're hoping that next year turns into a lot better season than this year has. And like you thinking all the guys in the clubhouse, they could be irritable and ornery too. I mean, they're going through the same stuff the players are going through, but everybody seems to have a positive attitude, and it's the right people in the right spot.
Well, that starts from the top. I mean, we're really lucky in our relationship with the Braves. John Schuerholz, John Hart, new GM John Coppolella, Freddie Gonzalez and his staff. They treat us like we're part of the team, and we really aren't. We're broadcast partners with the Atlanta Braves. And I mean, that's, I think, a wonderful relationship that we are very proud to help foster, and we're very, very appreciative for how much access Freddie and his guys give us and our TV crew. And from that standpoint, irrespective of the one-loss record, it's a treat to come to the ballpark every day, because in most places, TV folks don't have it as good as we do.
If you don't have the right people, it can be miserable for everybody.
And the call is out. Wow. Wow. I guess there wasn't enough evidence to overturn. All Freddie Gonzalez could do is smile, but I don't think they got this one right. Call stands. Cunningham out, but on that close angle replay, looked like he had Lynn beat by an inch. You got Brush, you got Bucket, you got Two-Bit the Drill, all racing to the finish line, and there he is, the enforcer. A.J. Pierzynski with a clothesline, the big body block, the bucket. Well, he filled the bucket because he was so scared, and he waves home Two-Bit the Drill for the checkered flag. I think that might be the first win of the season for Two-Bit the Drill, with a little help from A.J. Pierzynski, who will join us in the fifth inning to talk about those exciting moments here at Turner Field. That-a-way, AJ.
That was fun. I enjoyed that one. I actually would have liked to go out there and close on one of these guys running as fast as they could.
You must be related to Simon. Randall Simon. Yeah.
The sausage race.
Yeah, the guy that got involved in the sausage race in Milwaukee. Yeah. Wiped him out.
He wiped him out and almost got a lawsuit, or did get a lawsuit with it.
1 ball, 1 strike for Mark Reynolds. Later that year, Simon got traded to the Cubs. I was doing the Cubs games, and we finished the season in Milwaukee, and they had the sausage race. The players had him duct taped to the top row of the dugout, so he couldn't do anything. Little tapper over the mound. Whistler over the shoulder, and the throw to first. What a play!
Wow. What a play by Whistler. I didn't think anybody had a chance other than Oliver at third. That would have been a tough play with the grass being so wet. It probably would have died. Whistler did a good job really mazing this ball over his head and kept his eye on the ball until he was able to transfer the ball in a nice throw to first base.
How in the world do infielders, in this case Whistler became one when he caught the ball, how do you make that 360 throw so accurately like that? You see it time and time again from shortstop.
It's easier for a shortstop because you actually practice it from time to time in the infield. But for a pitcher, they don't practice that play ever.
Garcia softly to left from one to another. Adonis Garcia makes the play on Greg, and there's the second out.
And I saw Ian Desmond make a couple of those plays the other day, and he was right on the money every time. And it's just crazy because as an infielder, you just naturally make that play. You kind of have an idea where first base is at all times. It is a difficult play, don't get me wrong, but it's even more difficult for a pitcher who never, ever practices that play.
Well, Matt sure looked like he practiced it. Beautiful play. And quickly 2 outs for Pete Kozma. Don't know if Kozma will be on the Cardinals postseason roster. They've got a lot of decisions to make, as we mentioned in game 1. John Mozeliak, their terrific general manager, is with the team. Cardinals will be heading back to St. Louis after this one. They'll await the outcome of the Cubs and the Pirates, and then they'll set their postseason roster. 1 ball, 1 strike for Kozma. And this one's popped up right side. Siriaco, foul ground, takes a peek at the tarp, has room, and has the baseball. 3 up, 3 down. Whistler's dealing and leading. 1-0 Atlanta. Those are some of the highlights of A.J. Pierzynski's first season with the Atlanta Braves. A.J. is going to join us at some point this afternoon. Might have to get Chris Van Zandt or Ben Acree to go down to the Braves security office and get him out of the Hoosgow after the assault on the tool race. But boy, oh boy, did A.J. have a great year with the Braves this season. A .300 batting average. Great leadership. Handled all these young pitchers, Nick, and all he cared about was one thing: winning.
And that's easy to do when you're on a winning team, but it's hard to do when you're playing on a team who hasn't won many games.
Right?
It really is. And for him to be able to stay positive like that, it's been good.
Hey, AJ, did somebody just bail you out after assault and battery with the
Dude, it's a long run from back there, man. I feel a little late, but sorry, I had to run from the back of the back there. Poor Eddie Perez, man, he should be in better shape. I mean, all the walking back and forth he has to do.
Yeah, bless his heart. Oh, my God. That was great, by the way. Was that your idea today?
Please go.
Lavarn Way toward the gap. He's going to snap his over. That's up off the fence. And Lavarn Way is on his way to second with a leadoff double. The Piston has a double. You know why we call him the Piston, right?
I do not.
Well, you can't see the replay, but his legs go up and down. They don't go east-west very well.
His right leg when he runs kind of kicks out to the side, if you notice. He wants to race me, but I think I could take him.
I'll tell you, I'll pay to watch that.
We could probably get a little wager going.
That'd be awesome, man.
It'd be fun.
Congratulations on a great year.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. It was fun. Obviously, the results weren't exactly what we wanted as far as team-wise, which is the most important thing. But it was a fun year. I got to meet a lot of people. I got to learn a lot from a lot of different guys. And seeing some of these young kids get better on a daily basis is what makes it worth the while.
You've been on winning teams. You've been on rebuilding teams. You've been teams on the decline. You've seen just about everything that you can see as a major league player as long as you've been in the show. What do you take out of this season personally and collectively as a member of the Braves in 2015?
Well, the effort that we gave. Like I said, the results weren't always there, but the behind-the-scenes effort, the effort that every guy gave on a daily basis, not only to get better, but to be prepared to play, and the way we went about it. Everybody gave everything they had, and I know that sounds so cliche or so just strange, but it's one of those things where everyone did all they could do, and if we came up short, we come up short, but we busted our tails every day, and we were proud to go out there and work, and no one ever shied away from working, and that's what I'm saying. That's all that. Watching these young guys get better on a daily basis was what made this season fun and worth the effort.
Great bunt there by Matt Whistler, which is an area where the Braves are much improved over last year.
Well, Matt Whistler almost got thrown out at first on his last at bat.
Yes,
so.
he knew to run.
And then he didn't go to second, which I can't figure out why.
I think he was so excited he made it. He didn't want to tempt fate.
There's been a couple times where I've been running and I've seen the Frenchie and Harper look like he was going to do it to me this year, where you're running and you're scared to death. You're like, I do not want to get thrown out by the right fielder right now.
That happened to Mike Minor in Houston a couple of years ago. Hunter Pence got him.
Yeah, that's a bad feeling.
His first big league game, I think he had a base hit to right, and they threw him out at first.
Oh, well, it's not a hit then, I guess.
Well, that's right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was ticketed for the hit column for him.
He already had the ball authenticated.
Right. Infield in for Michael Bourne with Lavarn Way at third. Something, AJ, that Johnny Gomes talked about. I know you and I talked about it in the spring. One of your goals was to make the Braves clubhouse at the end of this season a better place than the way you found it in the spring. Do you feel like you and the other veterans on this club have helped accomplish that? I think we did a good job. I don't know. You never know because of things, and you don't know what everyone's saying or what everyone's doing, but I think we taught the guys the right way, and that's all you can really try to do, is show the guys the right way and hope they follow. But we've had success, we've had failures, but then we always try to go back, and the failures we try to fix. But it's been challenging at times, just because we have had so many young guys and so many new faces, and most of these guys don't really know what it's like to be a big leaguer and how it goes about being a big leaguer. It's different than people think. They think you show up here and everything is just given to you. Well, there's a lot of people behind the scenes that work really hard. Ben Acree, Josh Hall, Chris Van Zandt, and all the other clubhouse guys that work their tails off to make sure that we have everything we need on a daily basis. And those guys need to be not only thanked, but taken care of in the right way and dealt with the right way. You can't yell at them. You can't scream at them. Yeah, there's days they make you mad where they don't wash your socks the right way, or they lose something, but it's not their fault, and you understand that, and you got to treat them with respect. 3-2 pitch for Michael, and that's popped out of play, foul. Braves lead the Cardinals 1-0. Last turn through the rotation, AJ, as a catcher, a handler of the pitching staff, you've got to be really encouraged by what you've seen, not just in the last 5 games, but really the last 2.5 weeks by some of these young guys. Yeah, I think they're getting better. That's what we've talked about from day one. Roger and I sit down and talk, and Freddie and everybody, and we talk about with these guys, especially the starters, hey, what can we do to make your life easier, make your job better? And they've done a good job of not only doing it, but listening to what we're saying and then
taking it over into the game and carrying it over. And that's the biggest thing. And it's the hardest thing to teach young guys is, hey, you have this, and we think this is what you need to do to improve. And sometimes guys are like, I got it all figured out, I'm a big leaguer. Well, you got to get through that phase, take a step back sometimes, and they've done that, and they've forgot their ego, and they've moved on. And that's been what's been encouraging from these group of young guys that we have here.
I know you don't like to talk about yourself. We have a graphic on the screen that you can't see. Since July 5th, you're hitting .340, best among all major league catchers. You're 11 hits away from 2,000, and you've had a .300 season at the plate. I would assume that other than your World Championship with the White Sox, this has to be maybe one of your most gratifying seasons.
It is, as far as the wins don't equate.
Strictly individually, yeah.
Just individually, yes. It's been gratifying on a lot of levels, but it's also been fun because of like what we talked about earlier with these young guys. But individually, yeah, you always think you can do more. You always think there's hits out there that you could have had or at bats that you gave away, and that's what's so hard about this game. And it also makes this game so fun is the daily battle and the daily grind. But yeah, I mean, coming off where I came last year to have the opportunity with the Braves to do what I did, and it was a win-win situation for myself, and I hope the Braves organization feels the same way.
Swing and a miss by Castro, and that begs the question. I assume you still want to play, right?
Absolutely, I'm definitely going to play. I mean, just threw out some numbers there. I mean, there's some milestones within reach. Not that you play for that, but you want to play to win the game, and then you also want to play at the end of the day when you retire. You want to be like, hey, it's pretty cool. You know, if you get 2,000 hits, that's pretty stinking cool.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're chasing down guys like Johnny Bench, and you've already passed Bill Dickey, guys like that. I mean, these are Hall of Fame people that you're chasing down on the hit parade. Gary Carter.
Yeah,
Mike Piazza.
I mean, Johnny Gomes, as bad as this used to say, you know, he was when I played with David Ortiz and Johnny in Boston, they'd be like, oh, he's chasing dead people. You know, when you start chasing dead people, that means you're doing something special. Because and I don't mean that with any disrespect towards Yogi and Gary Carter and those Bill Dickey and those guys, but I mean that's kind of the way the game is. And if you start getting into that category, then that means you're doing something pretty cool.
1 ball, 2 strikes for Daniel Castro. We're visiting with Braves catcher A.J. Pierzynski, who we hope will stick around for another half inning.
Absolutely. Sorry I was late, so I'll make up for it.
That's awesome. You're great. You're always great. Braves lead 1-0, and our fans are going to see A.J. Pierzynski auditioning for the WWE, the Terminator. World of sports. You can play ball with some of your favorite Braves alumni: Sid Bream, Javi Lopez, Brian Jordan, Marquise Grissom, Steve Avery, and others. It's an experience you don't want to miss, and there are fewer than 20 spots remaining. Visit Braves.com/fantasycamp for all of the details. With Nick Green and Andre Aldridge, I'm Chip Carey. A.J. Pierzynski's joining us from the Braves dugout bench. He's had a busy inning. He had to wear out the Home Depot tools in the tool race. He just had to warm up Matt Whistler. Now he's out of breath, and he's got the microphone back on, and he's ready to go as the Braves are coming up.
Sorry, I had to warm up the pitcher.
Yeah, he did great. All right, I'm going to put you on the spot. as Ed Easley goes to work first. You're going to be doing some postseason work on television for Fox, correct?
No sound. I got no sound.
Uh-oh. Technical issues. 1-0 pitch. Got us?
Yeah,
yeah, you're doing
sound guy.
Perfect. Now you're doing some TV work for postseason, right?
Yeah, let me catch my breath though. I mean, I went from tool race to over here to talk to you guys to warm up the pitcher, and then yeah. Yes, I am doing TV, but the ALDS.
Oh, the American League. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So
while Joe does the NL, I'll be doing the AL.
All right. So since you've spent the year with us, I'm going to ask you to handicap the National League race. You've seen all the teams, quite obviously. The Cubs and Pirates are going to play a one-game playoff that's looking like it's going to take place in Pittsburgh. Arrieta versus Garrett Cole. Who do you like in that game?
Oh, Arrieta's been so darn good. But you know my feelings for the Cubs.
Yeah.
Because of that, the Cubs will probably win the whole stinking thing this year. Arrieta's going to be hard to beat. I don't care where he pitches, the way he's throwing, the confidence he has, the body language he has going, just everything he's got going. He's tough. I mean, we faced him twice and didn't do a whole lot off him, and nobody has done anything off him. It seems like him and Scherzer, every time they take the mound, is a no-hitter waiting to happen.
Yeah, Scherzer 17 strikeouts yesterday. That was incredible. So you're saying the Cubs will beat the Pirates. That means the Cubs would face the Cardinals in the division series. Cardinals had the better luck early in the season. Cubs had better luck against the Cardinals in the second half. What do you like in that one?
Well, here's the problem. I know Waino is probably sitting in the clubhouse listening to this right now.
Yeah.
So, like I just said, I mean, the Cubs, for some reason, it just seems like everything's falling into place. And I know that makes you happy and your grandfather happy and everybody in the Carey family happy. But, I mean, I really want the Cardinals to find a way to win that series because of having played there and being on their team and seeing what kind of organization they have. But the way the Cubs are going right now, it's just hard to pick against them.
Okay, so you like the Cubs to face the winner of the Dodgers and Mets series. How about that one?
I think the Dodgers might actually find a way to win that one.
Really?
Just because of Greinke and Kershaw.
Okay.
And the Mets have done nothing. I remember I saw a stat the other day where the Greinke and Kershaw have killed the Mets in the two times they both pitched against them. And then I know the Mets have DeGrom and Harvey and Syndergaard and all those guys, but Greinke and Kershaw is tough. I know being on the Cardinals last year, going into L.A. and beating them. For some reason, the Cardinals have Kershaw's number, and they've beaten him a few postseasons in a row. But, man, it's tough to bet against those two guys, and especially in a short series.
All right, so I won't ask you to pick the winner between the Cubs and the Dodgers.
The Cubs, as far as I'm concerned,
Cubs?
you know this, no. I can't ever root for them, ever.
So you're saying Dodgers then?
I don't know, but I'm not saying the Cubs.
Okay, all right. Well,
I got friends back home that are Cubs fans, and every time they wear a Cubs hat, I throw them out of my house.
Well, all right, let's handicap the American League then. Who do you like in the American League races, since you're going to be doing the AL series?
Well, am I allowed to? Can I be like Kirk Herbstreit on game day and be like, I'm calling the game so I don't have to pick?
Yeah, sure, whatever you want.
I think they're going to be fun. I think it looks like it's going to be Kansas City is going to get the 1 seed. And then whoever wins the wild card, whether it's New York or it looks like it's going to be Houston with the scores I'm looking at right now.
Yeah.
That's going to be a fun series just because of, one, I think there's going to be more offense than people expect because neither of those teams have dominant starting pitching. And, you know, the Royals and the Yankees have great bullpens, but early in the game, there's not dominant starters. So other than if Cueto and Tanaka are good. And then if you look at the other, Toronto and Texas, you want to talk about an offensive powerhouses on both sides. I mean, that's going to be the series to watch and be like, wow, there could be 100 runs scored in 5 games here. So the American League is going to be fun just because of the amount of offense and the amount of runs I think is going to be scored.
2 balls and a strike and a ground ball to second. AJ, catch your breath, pal. You've been a real treasure for us. We hope you're back in Atlanta next year. Good luck in the playoffs, and we'll see you after the game.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
The great AJ Pierzynski, a terrific first year in Atlanta uniform, finished with a 300 average. Amazing. 1-0. Atlanta leads it. into the bottom of the 6th inning. Time for our AT&T Uverse trivia question. Jason Hayward has 23 stolen bases this year. Name the last Cardinal with a 30 or better stolen base season. And it's got to be somebody besides Willie McGee and Vince Coleman and those guys.
That's immediately who you go think about.
Right. That's a good trivia question. Last Cardinal with a 30 stolen base season, as we take a peek at Seth Maness on a relief of Mr. Lynn. .76 games for the Cardinal right-hander. Maness out of Pinehurst, North Carolina. Played ball at East Carolina University. He lives in West End, North Carolina in the offseason. So I bet he's got a lot of friends at the ball game this afternoon. And 2 balls, 2 strikes. Maness has been a very big postseason pitcher for the Cardinals. He's pitched in 15 playoff games. He's given up 1 earned run. And that run was a home run in the 2013 World Series against the Red Sox. And this is one reason why the Cardinals are such a fearsome club, by adding Adam Wainwright. Already a very deep and very talented bullpen. You've got Rosenthal at the end. You've got Maness. You've got Lyons, who can strike you out. You add Wainwright to that bunch. Better not trail him late. Adonis Garcia, the lone RBI in the game. A first inning single with 2 outs.
And he's gonna go home happy today, feeling really confident and good about his season too. And he had the multi-home run game, first game of this doubleheader, and the RBI single early in this game. It's a very positive note for him to end on.
Isn't it funny from a player's perspective? I mean, AJ was talking about that a second ago. He hit 9 home runs in limited duty like Garcia has. Feel pretty good about that. But 10 just seems like so much more, doesn't it? The bat ends up in left field. And Garcia, I believe, is going to hit again. That ball was fouled off.
And you're right. I mean, you're looking at like 268 versus 270, or 275 versus 280. 9 and 10 home runs. 10 is where you want to be, and leaving it stuck at 9 is, you're like, where can I have picked up that 1 home run to finally get me to double digits? That looks so good on the scoreboard right now. 280, 10 home runs, 26 RBIs in limited duty.
Yeah, 56, 57 games. This one's popped up. And Maness says he's got it, and he does. Garcia pops out. And quickly, 2 outs in the Atlanta 6th.
And that's something you don't see often either. There's the pitcher calling everybody off. And the one good thing about Maness calling everybody off is he continued to call until he got the ball. Usually he calls one time and he's iffy about catching it. Then everybody converges towards the plate and nobody catches the ball. He took charge there, just like a shortstop or a center fielder.
Jace Peterson, first pitch, singles to right. That's the 8th Atlanta hit. And a good finish to the season for Jace. He's aboard with 2 outs. Looks like Texas is going to win the West. They have blown the game open at home. They lead 9-2 over the Angels. So the Rangers are going to hang on and win the West, it would appear. Houston is losing 3-2. But coupled with the Angels losing, if Houston loses, they will be the number 2 wild card. The Yankees are losing 7-2. Let's check out the spread between the Yankees and the Astros. Well, the Yankees are a game ahead of them, so they would host the Astros for the one-game playoff in the American League among the wild card teams as things stand now. All those games in the 7th, the 8th, and some resolution approaching rapidly on game 162. Question, maybe we'll have Gretchen or Archibald look it up for us. Have the Braves ever swept the Cardinals in a 3-game series and shut them out in all 3 games? Got a chance for that to happen.
I'm going to say no, but that's actually hard to do against any team, and especially against this team. And as well as they played this year, you would not have expected that going into this series.
These two clubs have been getting after it since the late 1800s. 0-2 for Pedro Siriaco. And a swing and a miss. That takes care of Pedro. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. We head to the 7th. Braves try to chop down the Cardinals and sweep them in shutout fashion. Matt Whistler's looked awfully good. He's held the Cardinals to only 2 hits. Van Grichuk and Adams coming up. Cardinals have left 1 man on base. And a strike to Tommy Pham. Sharply hit and off the glove of Oliveira. His throw to first gets away from Siriaco and no advance. If Oliveira and Garcia are going to play third base every day, their glove work has to improve. Adonis made an error at third base in game 1. Oliveira might be charged with his 5th error in 24 games.
If you remember Vinny Castilla playing third base is a one-handed position. On that play, Oliveira tries to reach with 2, kind of tightens up, and he's not able to be loose with his hands, and that's the most important thing at third base. Balls get on you quick. You have to use your hands. When you go with 2 all the time and it's off to the side, you can't always be free and loose with your hands.
Is second base a two-hand position?
Second base is a two-hand position.
Because that's what he played.
Shortstop's a two-hand position.
That's what Hector played mostly in Cuba. So would that explain part of the transition problems
It could
for
be,
him?
and like that ball right there is not easy to play. You have to drop step and use one hand. Use your hands, be soft with your hands, and make them play one-handed. That's the biggest thing that helped me at third base was typically you see a fungo hitter hitting from the first base side during BP, and they hit it nice and easy in a routine ground ball. I can catch those balls all day long. I won't make an error if you hit from over there. From Larry Boa did this for me in New York, and he moved to the third base side during BP and hit it, topped it over to me, and hit him hard. I would have to drop step, learn how to use my feet and hands, and that made such a difference for me at third base. Not that I was a fantastic third baseman, but it helped me out, and that's something that might work for Oliveira, especially not playing there that much.
Randall Grichuk is the hitter. Runner at first with nobody out, and popped out of play foul. Just from a geometry standpoint, reaction time at second versus reaction time at third, it's a much different world. But in real world application, can you tell fans how different that is for a right-hand hitter hitting the ball to you at second sharply versus pulling it?
Well, you're looking at the distance you're starting out at. Even if you look at Jace Peterson at second base right now, he's still much farther back than Oliveira is, and he can see the field better. At third base and first base, you don't always see the field as good. You have to read the bat angle. The bat hooks around, and that's when you know the ball is coming to you. But you also have to read ball in the dirt. Perry Hill taught me this from Miami. Ball in the dirt, hits in the dirt around the plate. You have to charge. If it doesn't, then you can stay back. And if you charge when the ball's in the dirt, then the majority of the time you're going to catch a good, nice, easy hop. But you have to work on that stuff. I think from the third base side is a fungo hitter.
Double play ball. Let's see how Jace turns this one. Beautifully. 2 outs. That's something else we've really enjoyed following this year is Jace Peterson's footwork, his confidence in turning the double play when the ball is hit to the shortstop.
I mean, you can see on this play here, and I've seen him do it some good, some bad. Watch his momentum going towards first base. See how he's able to get his momentum going towards first instead of going towards third base. When he gets set up properly and he ends up going momentum towards first base, then he makes a much better throw, much quicker throw. When he comes across and goes straight across toward third, you'll see the ball run up the line and have a little bit of trouble.
Did it take you a long time, either in the minor leagues or the major leagues, to learn how to use the bag as a defense mechanism against those guys coming in trying to kill you?
You know what? Glenn Hubbard was the best second base coach that I had around the bag. There are 2 ways to do it. I always stayed on the back side or the front side, and I could always get out of the way. It's so important to put yourself in the proper position. Adrian Beltre took me out of second base one time, slid over the base, about took my ACL out, but I was in the proper position. I didn't get hurt. If I'm not in the proper position, then I get hurt, and then I'm timid out there at second base. But Glenn Hubbard was my best second base coach. I mean, it's really a left foot on the bag, right foot, left foot. 3 steps is all it is. And if you can get those 3 steps down, it's not hard. You can get out of the way most every single time.
No balls, 2 strikes for Adams. Subtle shift on for the Braves. Castro right behind the bag, and a sinking line drive handled by Siriaco at first. And we're to the 7th inning stretch for the final time this year. Nothing doing for the Cardinals, who trail 1-0.
And of course, the one run is on the board because Michael Bourn started the first inning for the Braves with a base hit and has scored the only run in the ball game. Now, when we came to the park earlier today, Mike was really putting down some serious breakfast. I said, do you plan on playing today? He said, I plan on playing 18 innings a day, and it looks like he may play 18 innings. Not going to get tired. Michael, who's from Houston, says he loves being here in Atlanta for, remember, this is his second stint, played 208 games as a Brave beginning in 2011. But Michael says some of the baseball sayings aren't really true. Like he was squaring up the ball when he first got here, wasn't getting hits, wasn't seeing it. And he said, you know what, they say it all evens out. I got to tell you, Andre, I don't think it all evens out because my hits, I don't seem to be getting the fair stuff from him. But Chip, he's hitting nearly 300 in his last 21 games and has got things going for this club on this particular ball game.
That's a good point, Andre. From a hitter's perspective, those breaks never even up, do they? I mean, that's part of the hitter's Bible, isn't it?
You hope he can play long enough that they will even out.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't seem like Bourne's evened out since he's been here. Like you said, he got hot at the beginning and nothing fell, and then all of a sudden you find a cold spell and it just seemed like nothing falls and nothing goes your way.
Steve Cishek's on to pitch for the Cardinals. He'll face Todd Cunningham in the 7th. I think Michael's going to be an important part of this ball club next year. We don't know the composition of the team, but from a character and chemistry standpoint, Michael is great in the locker room. And there's a young man by the name of Malik Smith, whom you've heard a lot of, and Nick, you've seen play a lot. Maybe not ready quite yet to get to the big leagues as a major league outfielder, but when he gets here, I hope he follows that guy or lockers next to that guy and learns what A.J. Pierzynski was talking about with these other youngsters, how to be a major league player. Deep short and through. Cunningham's aboard with a clean single off Cishek, and that's another hit for Atlanta.
And you hope a guy like Bourne is here for Malik when he gets here.
Yeah.
I've seen him quite a bit ever since he got up from Mississippi to Gwinnett, and he had a lot to learn. I don't think he's ready yet, but he has the potential to be really good, and he can improve so much. He was the player of the year, I think, offensively for the organization. But when he does come up, like I said, you want somebody like Bourne for him to follow.
Ryan Lavarnway snapped a long hitless slide. He was 0 for 20 until he ended it with a 5th inning double while his battery mate A.J. Pierzynski was talking to us. 0-1 the count. Another run would be nice for the Braves. And swing and a miss. If you recall, when Jason Hayward was first with the Braves, Michael Bourne was here. And I think if you ask Jason in his heart of hearts who was one of the more influential players in your early days as an Atlanta Brave, I think he'd tell you Michael Bourne.
You know, guys like that are good for young kids, and for him to take guys under his wing and kind of show them the right way. On the field, stats mean so much, but what they bring to the clubhouse it's even more important, especially when you have a bunch of young guys. AJ's been awesome for these guys. Michael Bourne's going to be great. Swisher is good for the morale of the team. There's a lot more that goes into it than just stats.
All the way by Lavarnway, who's still alive. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Mets beat the Nationals 1-0. That's a final. Phillies beat Miami 7-2. Arizona and Houston tied 3-3 in the 7th. Yankees losing 7-2 to Baltimore. Well, if Houston can come back and win and the Yankees lose, that'll be interesting. Lavarnway's got another hit. The Pistons 2 for 3.
And we were worried about him playing 2 games in a row today.
Well, we just didn't get him tired enough. Now the bat's ready.
2 hours and 16 minutes. Right? That can work for him. Nice swing. Tough guy to hit off of, too, at Cishek. And Lavarnway was able to stay inside a fastball middle in, dropping down from Cishek. And it's nice to see him finish off on a strong note. He hasn't played a ton this year since he's been up here, but it's a good day for him today.
Whistler's going to bunt. And he takes a strike. Last year, the Braves pitching staff was not a good bunting staff at all. That was a focus of attention from the opening days of spring training with Freddie Gonzalez and his staff. And the Braves pitchers have done really good work. Braves with 66 sacrifice bunts coming into today's play. Tehran leads the staff with 14. Shelby Miller with 11 of them.
And do you remember Maddox, Glavine, Smoltz, all those guys? You go watch those guys bunt in the cage off the iron mic, and they put it wherever they wanted, whenever they wanted. They were so calm back there. They bunted the ball first before they ran, and that's a big problem with pitchers and guys individually as they're trying to sacrifice bunt. They want to run before they bunt the ball, and those guys were great to look at and watch and learn from. It's too bad they aren't here right now for these guys to see, but it's a nice improvement this year.
Matt Reynolds almost had a heart attack. Bunt was off, and he's about 20 feet away from the plate, and as soon as Whistler missed that ball, his hands went in the grass and his head dropped, and he said thank you.
You know, the one thing though on it, when they pull back and swing, you rarely see a ball crushed at third base.
Bunted, foul, and Whistler is struck out. And on the foul ball, the runners return to first and second. Cunningham to second, LeVarn Way to first. So bragging about Matt Whistler and the pitching staff bunting. He couldn't get one down. And now the lineup features Michael Bourn. Michael scored the lone run in the first.
I'm going to give Whistler a pass because he doesn't typically practice bunting off a side armor.
Yeah.
But those are not easy guys to bunt off of.
Cardinals got Steve Cishek from the Marlins. They gave up Kyle Barraclough, who's a mid-90s thrower. St. Louis wanted some more experience and a different arm angle. They've got it in Cishek. Gets ahead, or evens the count, I should say. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And I was waiting to, I don't know who that guy is, but you said throws 95, and I said that does not shock me.
Right. Who does?
I feel like the Cardinals take if you throw hard, they got you.
That's downstairs. 2-1. Marlins had a new reliever debut today in their ball game that they lost to the Phillies 7-2. Ichiro pitched.
That's cool. He was my teammate in Seattle. Good dude, bad English, but he was a gamer. Worked so hard. I've never seen somebody get a massage as long as he did, and every single day at the same time.
3 balls and a strike. A shot to left. There's a base hit. Here comes Cunningham around third. He can fly and he can score. Ball's cut off. 2-0. That's the way to end the season. Michael Bourn, a 2-hit, 1-run, 1 RBI doubleheader nightcap.
Another good swing by Bourn. And to me, the most impressive part was Cunningham's base running at second base. As a runner on second base, you have to know where the shortstop is. He knows where the shortstop is, and he knows that Garcia cannot get to the ball. Cunningham gets a perfect break, and he scores easily. Didn't hesitate at all. Another good swing by Bourn and fantastic base running by Cunningham.
So there's a little more room for Whistler to work with. It's 2-0. The Braves 11 hits. And a shot to short. Might be 2, and it is 2. So Steve Cishek gives up a run on 3 hits, and we go to the 8th, where the Braves lead by 2. benefits customized for your unique needs. SunTrust Park seating priority is still being given to current A-list members, so become one today and get closer to getting your seats for SunTrust Park in 2017. Go to Braves.com A-list and join today. Changes for the Braves. Freddie Freeman will enter the game and play first base. Pedro Siriaco moves across the diamond to play third as Matt Whistler gets ready to pitch the eighth. He's allowed only 3 hits to the Cardinals today. And for the second time this year, Whistler's pitching good ball against the Cardinals. He beat them on July 26th, allowing 2 runs, 7 hits in 7 innings of work. Chance for him to finish at 500. Going back to our chat about how hitters think, 8-8 for a pitcher is a whole lot better than 7-8.
You're right about that. And Whistler's only thrown 73 pitches in 7 innings. He's right where he needs to be to finish strong.
And he'll start with Mark Reynolds, then Garcia, then Cosma for St. Louis. And a swing and a miss, 0-2. Arizona's taken a 5-3 lead over Houston now. The Astros have struggled on the road, and they're running out of time against the Diamondbacks. Texas 9-2 leading the Angels. And a shot just foul. Oh, Reynolds thought he had a double. That was close.
And I talked about before the game, one of the keys was Whistler using his curveball effectively, meaning throwing it for strikes when he needs to throw for strikes, throwing for balls when he needs to throw for balls. That was a situation he needs to throw for a ball, and he threw it for a strike and got lucky that Reynolds didn't put it in the left field seats.
That's up and away, 1-2. Mentioned Ichiro pitched today. He did allow a run on 2 hits.
I've got to watch and see if he gave it everything and threw hard or if he just lobbed it in there.
I read somewhere that his fastball was in the upper 80s. He was bringing it. And Lavarnway says he's got it, and he does. Reynolds pops out, 1 away. Jason Stark had a note that Ichiro became the 27th position player to pitch this year.
That's a lot.
That's the most in the live ball era in a single season.
I can't believe you're seeing it more and more. I did it once in Boston. I pitched 2 innings against the White Sox. I actually faced AJ and popped him up.
Did you?
I didn't bring it up. I didn't want to embarrass him on air, but I did do that. I ran through their whole order. If you didn't swing, you were going to walk, but he swung, popped it up. He actually hit the ball the hardest I had hit off of me. But I ended up back surgery in the offseason.
Oh, you wore yourself out, huh?
It's tough. I mean, as a competitor, I wanted to go out and compete and get guys out. And probably gave it too much effort and paid for it in the long run.
2 balls, no strikes for Greg Garcia. He skies one to center. That's playable for Michael Bourne. And that'll be out number 2. Well, Jeff Francoeur was talking about that. He had the 2-inning stint for the Phillies earlier this year. And he said, I threw so hard. He said to me the next day, I'm dying. He was so sore.
You know what? And you don't think you would be, but the angle off the mound compared to what you're used to throwing from, it's completely different, and it'll wear you out.
So 2 outs, bases empty, 8th inning. Here's Cosma. Cosma's 0 for 2. And ball 1. One more note about the Marlins. D. Gordon's trying to win the batting title. As this ball is dumped into shallow right, Jace drifts out, makes the play. Good end to the top of the 8th inning. We'll update the National League batting chase and more as this game moves to the home 8th. 2-0 Atlanta. 19th through the 24th at Disney's Wide World of Sports. Play ball with some of your favorite Braves alumni: Sid Bream, Javi Lopez, Brian Jordan, Marquise Grissom, Steve Avery, and others. It's a great experience, and there are less than 20 spots remaining. Go to Braves.com/fantasycamp and get all the details. Trivia time today. It was about Jason Hayward earlier. He's got 23 stolen bases. Named the last Cardinal with a 30 stolen base season.
You know, we didn't want to go back that far, but I'm taking Vince Coleman.
You're going to say Vince Coleman? There had to be somebody before.
There has to be, but you know what? He's a safe bet for me.
I'm going to say David Freese. I don't know why, but I'm going to say David Freese, but I know that's wrong. Edgar Renteria. I forgot about old Edgar.
I didn't count. He barely got over 30.
Yeah. Edgar Renteria had a great career. This is Kevin Segrist to work the Atlanta 8th. And Freddie Freeman will get an at-bat on the final day of the season. Segrist, exceptionally good in relief from the left side. And that's taken low. Freeman's had a wrist problem. He has not started the last 4 or 5 games for the Braves. And unfortunately for Freddie and the Braves, he's missed roughly a quarter of the season with wrist problems and an oblique issue. And once the season's over, he'll let the wrist calm down, get a further examination, and figure out what's exactly causing him the discomfort. He said it doesn't hurt to make contact, but it's the rotation of that right hand with his swing that causes him a lot of pain.
And the problem is you can't always make contact.
Right.
So it's going to be tough for him, and you can see right here it's still bothering him just by the way he's finishing his swing. But it is the last day of the season. He's going to get some rest after today.
And he swings and misses. Segrist strikes him out, and that's the first out in the Atlanta 8th. D. Gordon won the batting title in the National League. Went 3 for 4 today for the Marlins. Bryce Harper went 1 for 4. Gordon ends with a .333 National League batting average.
Pretty good year.
Yeah. What were the Dodgers thinking? Letting D. Gordon go. They traded D. Gordon.
I mean, they have Howie Kendrick, but and he brings something different to the table than Gordon, but you just can't find guys like Gordon out there.
Well, how about the controllable years? That's the thing. You trade D. Gordon and his control for Andrew Heaney.
Money's not an object for them.
And then you trade Heaney for Howie Kendrick, who got hurt, and then you had to go get Chase Utley.
I don't know. Sometimes when you have money, it's not always a good thing.
I'll never know.
Me either, but I would like to try.
Yeah. Well, it worked out for the Dodgers. They won the West for the 3rd straight year. And another shot off Garcia's bat. This ball is high off the fence, but foul. And quickly 0-2. The most popular way to follow the action of Braves baseball is MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy live look-ins, highlights, replay reviews, scores, StatCast, live radio broadcasts, and more. Get the MLB.com at bat app now. 0-2. Lynn, Manus, Cishek, and now Segrist for the Cardinals. Cishek 3 hits and a run. And his inning of relief, that's low for Garcia. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Texas wins. They beat the Angels 9-2. So the Rangers are going to win the American League West. What a story the Rangers have been. 95 loss team last year to division champions. And nobody saw that coming. They were 8 games out of first place.
You always talk about Houston and what a turnaround they had, but Texas has been just as good, and nobody expected them to be where they are. And even midway point, you weren't expecting that, but they've had a fantastic second half, and now they're sitting pretty.
Yeah, they got Hamels, they got Dyson, they got Diekman, and then they got hot. and took advantage of the Astros, who really struggle to win games away from home. But with LA losing, that means the Angels can't catch Houston. And no matter what the Astros do, they're going to the playoffs. And that's an amazing story, too. So it'll be the Astros and the Yankees for the one-game playoff. Over in the American League.
They're going to be Keuchel and Tanaka.
Pretty good chance.
Is Keuchel pitching on short rest, too?
I think so.
I think 3 days, what they said.
I think so.
Do or die.
And so the winner of that game would face Kansas City in the playoff series. As things stand now, the Royals won and Toronto lost, so Kansas City has home field advantage throughout the American League playoffs. So the wild card winner will face Kansas City. It's going to be Texas and Toronto. What a shootout that might be in a divisional matchup in the American League.
You know what? I actually played in Toronto. I played for all these teams. But I keep saying I played here.
Yeah.
I played for Toronto also. But if that place can get packed and they bring a big crowd, that is a fun place to play in and be around.
You must have a 10,000 square foot man cave with all the jerseys that you have framed.
Well, we've already established the point that I'm not rich, so I can't afford 10,000 square foot of anything. But I used to frame jerseys for my dad, and I have 8 jerseys, but only 5 of them framed, so I have 3 more to go. He just doesn't have where to put them.
I got you. All right. 2-2. It's not play foul. That's great news for Toronto, too. They had a long 22-year run since they were in the playoffs, and they were very aggressive and made great acquisitions at the deadline. Troy Tulowitzki is back. They've got David Price lined up.
Donaldson. What a pickup.
Might be probably will be the MVP of the American League, as that one's popped up at the plate, and that will send us to inning number 9, our final 9th inning of the regular season. Matt Whistler is going to try to go the distance and finish off the Cardinals. Here's what's happened on our CPI security game summary. An early run, a late run, and consistent pitching from Whistler today.
Whistler has 83 pitches through 8. And he's actually the story of the game for me. The hitting's been there, but actually the timely hitting. They have 11 hits, only 2 runs, but Whistler's only given up 3 hits. So the hits have been big when they've gotten them in the right spots, and Whistler's done a fantastic job today.
A squibber to the right side. Peterson's got it. Throw to first, and there's the first out. Braves and Cardinals have played almost 2,000 games since 1900. In the great history between these two longtime National League rivals, the Braves have never shut out the Cardinals in 3 consecutive games. Never. In 2,000 games played head to head. But they've got a chance to do that with 2 more outs. Dangerous hitter, though, is Brandon Moss. He'll hit for Siegrist. And he takes a strike. And low and away, 1 ball, 1 strike. Our time together is growing short. And I want to thank our great crew for all their hard work this season. It's been a challenging year in a lot of respects as far as the wins and losses are concerned. But our great producer Brian Woodrum, Gretchen Caney, Mike Miller, Gary Lehman, all of our Elvis operators, Val Burrell up in the booth, Drew Jenkins, Chad Hartzog, Dave Baker, our statisticians. There's just too many people to thank by name on air, but a hearty thank you for me, and I'm sure for Joe Simpson, who couldn't be here today, for working so hard to make us look as good as we possibly can. And believe me, that's heavy lifting. But we appreciate it and can't wait to put a tidy bow on this season and get started again in spring training 2016. So guys, gals, thank you very, very much. Moss fouls it away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Want to wish Joe Simpson all the best. He's under the weather today, but getting ready for his postseason work. He'll be joining Brian Anderson and Dennis Eckersley on TBS's coverage of the National League playoffs. And that one's rocketed into the corner by Moss. All he's done in this series is hit and walk. And his spot on the postseason roster is not a certainty, but he's doing everything he can to make sure the Cardinals keep him around. That ball was smoked.
And you say all he's done is get hits and walks. That's good. And they're going to have a tough decision to make as far as whether he goes on the postseason roster or not. Whistler got a changeup that did not get down. And too good of a 2-strike pitch. And, you know, if you throw it over the plate, Moss is going to hit it. And he took advantage of a poorly executed changeup, which is one thing that we haven't said much of from Whistler today. Poorly executed. Most everything has been executed perfectly today.
So a runner at second for John Jay, who's 0 for 3. 2-0 Atlanta. And a ball outside. Joe Simpson will be working the Cardinals series in postseason play. Cardinals will head back to St. Louis and await the winner of the Cubs and the Pirates. Ball 2. Action has begun in the Braves bullpen. And it's Edwin Jackson getting ready. There's a strike. It's 2-1. That wild card game in the National League will take place in Pittsburgh. Pirates shut out Cincinnati today. Cubs won 3-1 in Milwaukee. Swing and a miss. 2-2.
Good curveball, right in the right spot, in the right count. 2-1 count, hitters count. Jay's looking fastball, and Whistler throws a perfect breaking ball right there for a strike. Now he can throw any pitch he wants.
And he jammed Jay. Ground ball to first. Freeman's got it. Runner to third, and the Cardinals are down to their final out. And it's Tommy Pham, who's coming up in the 9th inning. Pham has an infield hit. Only 4 of them for the Cardinals today. Whistler out of the stretch. 99 pitches for Whistler, 72 strikes today. Two and one.
But you go back and he's 73% strikes now. It's important to throw strikes, but you have to throw quality strikes, and that's what he's done. If you just throw strikes where guys can hit it, you're going to get hurt. He's making the pitches he needs to make, and the percentage of strikes is extremely high today. But the pitches, the percentage of quality strikes has been even higher.
Overthrew that one, though. 3 balls and a strike. He's hoping this is the last batter of the season. Dangerous pitch. And he walked Pham. Season high in pitches is 105, and Whistler won't be allowed to finish it. He walks Tommy Pham with a runner at third and 2 outs. And Edwin Jackson will come on and take the baseball. One away from Matt Whistler to finish his first season in the big leagues. Standing ovation for the young right-hander. 8 2/3 of 4-hit shutout ball against the Cardinals. Was he good? He earns our SunTrust Save of the Game honors in Game 2.
And to see him do this the last game of the season has been impressive. He started out great, had a rough patch there for a little while, but he was able to continue to pitch up here at the big league level, and he's made a nice turnaround. You see a bunch of nice pitches today. He made the pitches when he had to make them. He only had 3 strikeouts, but strikeouts are not the most important thing. Making quality pitches are super important, and he did a good job today with that.
So the runners at first and third belong to Whistler. Edwin Jackson's going to check in. He'll face Randall Grichuk, who's 1 for 3 with a strikeout. If the Braves can get this final out, their last 9 home games would see them allow only 5 earned runs in 81 innings. That's an 0.54 ERA. Remarkable.
Great one to end on. And Edwin Jackson's more than capable of getting this out without allowing any runners to score. He's been great since he's been here.
And he's chasing history, as are the Braves. Atlanta trying to shut out the Cardinals in 3 consecutive games. That's never happened. And Edwin Jackson is looking for his first save. And he almost picked off.
How about that ending a game? If he picks him off, you don't see that often. That'd be a long walk back to the dugout for Pham.
rolled his knuckles as he tried to get back to the first base bag.
He was in a hurry. If EJ throws a ball a little bit to Freddie's right, he's got a good shot too. If I'm the first base coach, I'm saying, hey, you cannot get picked off here to end the game. That would not be a good thing for the Cardinals.
Not with Grichuk up there in his 17 homers, and that's upstairs. Ball 2. Matt Adams is on deck. Braves want to watch him hit in the playoffs.
I would prefer to watch him hit in the playoffs and not today.
Correct. Check swing. There's a break. It's 2-1. And speaking of the playoffs, nonstop action, heart-pounding excitement, historic performances. The 2015 postseason begins October 6th. Go to MLB.com/postseason for a full schedule. There are the postseason broadcast partners. We wish all of our broadcast colleagues a very successful playoff run. 2 balls and a strike. Shelby Miller won game 1. Ending his 24-game streak without a win. Jackson trying to finish off this one for Whistler, and he's a strike away from doing it. It's a 2-2 count. The Braves have shut out the Cardinals in 3 consecutive games to end the season. Atlanta goes 8-1 over its last 9 games at home to earn their 67th win. Whistler earns his 8th victory of the season. And what a way to put a bow on 2015. This is the kind of game action the Braves, Nick, hope to see plenty of in 2016 and beyond.
You have to be excited about how they played this September, really towards the end of September. And there are a lot of good things to take home with you. We talked about the pitching staff and the rotation had pitched fantastic last time through, and that's something they definitely want to build on for 2016.
Atlanta 2, St. Louis nothing. The Cardinals fail to score in Atlanta. Awesome. We'll recap in a moment.